This video is about the so-called Park of the Monsters in Bomarzo in central Italy, 60 miles north of Rome. Built by a mysterious noble, Vicino Orsini, in the 1500s, there's nothing quite like Bomarzo. It consists of peculiar and sometimes terrifying statues carved out of the basalt bedrock, which are almost surreal. More about that in a moment. And nobody really knows why they were built or what, if anything, they mean. With their cryptic inscriptions and symbols, it certainly feels like they deserve a meaning, but frustratingly, nobody quite knows what that meaning is. Some say they are alchemical symbols, or perhaps a romantic tribute to Orsini's lost wife, or perhaps Michelangelo had something to do with them, but the truth is nobody really knows. The ogre bears an inscription that all reason departs, which perhaps is an invitation to just go mad when you enter. Other inscriptions say just to set the heart free, but it's all so cryptic you may end up none the wiser. I think the best thing is to wander around Bomarzo and let your imagination run free rather than look too deeply for meaning. Whoever isn't struck by this place would not even be able to admire the 7 wonders of the world, reads the not-so-modest inscription on one of the sphinxes. Orsini fought for the Pope and spent several years as a prisoner of the Holy Roman Emperor. His wife died young, and for what it's worth, I believe Bomarzo was intended to unsettle the visitor, a reaction against the symmetry and classical beauty of the Renaissance, a sort of protest by a disgruntled war veteran. The famous leaning house is both classical but disturbing, especially inside with its sloping floors and the absence of any right angles. It feels like you're in a normal room, but when you walk to the door you find yourself veering off to the side. Other statues are equally mysterious and unsettling. Is this one of Hannibal's elephants carrying a Roman soldier? Or perhaps something completely different? Who is this person being tormented by the giant? What on earth is going on here? Who is fighting here and why? Surely this must all bear some relation to the troubled life of Vicino Orsini, who left no records of his intentions other than the inscriptions on the statues. You who come here observe it piece by piece and tell me afterwards whether the marvels were created for deception or for art, one inscription reads. The face with the scream of Munch may be the entrance to hell, but who knows? You can sit inside the mouth and have a picnic on the benches formed out of the monster's tongue and experience the echoes and general weirdness of the place. The most positive account I have seen is that the garden was an early form of therapy for Orsini's post-traumatic stress order, definitely not a Renaissance term. As the final addition was this relatively normal temple dedicated to Orsini's second wife. Perhaps it means he found some sort of inner calm at the end. The garden and the statues form part of the Mannerist style of the late Renaissance, with a move towards personal expression, disorder, and a desire to astonish just for the sake of it, in the art world reflected also by Giuseppe Arcimboldo and his equally bizarre portraits. The gardens were abandoned for centuries, and when visited by Salvador Dali in 1938, he was struck by the melancholic and surreal statues, hidden under vegetation as they were then, and Dali said they inspired his work, The Temptation of St. Anthony. It's hard not to imagine Orsini and Dali as some sort of kindred spirits. The land, including the ruins of the garden, was acquired by the Bettini family in the 1950s and gradually reclaimed from the undergrowth, and they are now a major tourist attraction. I'm glad I went, but if I'm brutally honest about it, I think I would have preferred to see it when it was all overgrown, and to have seen the statues peering out from the bushes, just like Salvador Dali did. It's nothing to do with Bomarzo, but please check out my video on the equally sinister statues of Turin and the book The 20 Days of Turin, which you may enjoy if you like Bomarzo. The link is in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this video about Bomarzo and its monsters. If you would like to see more videos about all things Italian, please do feel free to subscribe and hit the like button so that the all-powerful YouTube algorithm spreads the word about Bomarzo.